But the people that ride, I've noticed like it's kind of like the Matrix. Like we've gone out and we realize there's more to this world than what we've been told, than what we've been instructed. And all there is the people who live by those rules that don't exist or who go test them. What's up guys? Welcome to the Icicles channel. I have a different type of video for you all today. As you can see, my face is visible. That is very rare on the channel. It is something I'm going to be experimenting with as we continue taking the channel to the next level. And I also want to just keep making my content more and more useful and helpful to anyone who watches the video. Again, shout out to all of the subscribers. I appreciate y'all who have been rocking with me throughout this channel, and I'm excited to keep taking it to new heights. I will be flashing different shots of me riding and maybe different motorcycle B-roll and things like that. But I really just wanted to talk to you all today about how motorcycling changed my life. I used to watch motorcycle videos when I was a sophomore in college. I used to watch them just to go to sleep, to remind myself college was going to end. I really didn't enjoy college. It was a really rough 4.5 years for me. But just seeing motorcycles helped remind me there was a different world outside of college, and it helped me keep pushing and keep going to at some time experience that world. And by God's grace, within a month of me graduating, I had my first motorcycle. This right here is Alicia. This is my second motorcycle. The biggest, most obvious change of riding a motorcycle and how it affected my psyche and my life was I had to really face my mortality. I no longer went through life just kind of expecting to be alive, and that may sound kind of weird, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Even at the young age of 23, 24, 25, 26, like most of us tend to live life like it's going to go on forever and ever and ever. But I think when you pick up this hobby, this beautiful hobby, but often dangerous hobby of riding a motorcycle, every time you get on that bike, you have to kind of look yourself in the mirror and see, like, you know, it's possible I may not come home today, and if I don't go out there and make the right decisions, then it's very likely I'm not going to come home, or I'm not going to come home the same way. And it really, for me, like my first year, I would just get on my knees and pray before every ride. Everyone knew it. I don't care who was there. I don't care if I knew you. I don't care if I didn't. I would get on my knees and pray that God would just protect me. And now I don't get on my knees as much, but I do pray every time that God would protect me, that He would just send a hedge of protection around me and everyone that I'm riding with and all those that I love, and that I would get from point A to point B safely and have fun doing it. And God has kept me. I've been down once, and that was in trials that I was doing in a parking lot. So I have had some scares, some things that made me a little nervous and made me hold back. There's been mistakes I made, but by God's grace, I'm good to go and I'm safe. And for the most part, most of my people are safe. And that's a huge blessing after riding for 2 years. So I used to just get on my knees just like this, and I would just pray, like right in front of everybody. Motorcycling has really made me just realize I'm not going to be here forever. And so not only did it make me refocus on God, but it also changed the way I was thinking about a lot of things. And I stopped looking at things for like today or now, this hour. I started thinking like, what do I want the rest of my life to look like? And if I only had one more year, if I only had one more day, how could I best spend that day where I would enjoy it, but also leave the impact that I want to leave according to the purpose I believe I was put on this earth for. And it's taken a lot of time, but I think thinking that way has helped push me a lot closer to my goals a lot quicker than I would have been had I not been, had I been thinking like the average 24, 25, 26-year-old who's like, the world's my oyster and I can do whatever I want, go get money, go be with whatever woman you want to be with, whatever. So that's been the biggest thing, just embracing my mortality and seeing how can I really live the best life and how can I waste the least amount of time, because it's not guaranteed. And it's not just people who ride motorcycles that's not guaranteed for, but I think when you do things that put your life on the line in a very obvious way, like ride motorcycles, whether you're in the military, police, even probably NFL players, people who are who are doing things that you actually get to experience death for people who most would consider it's gone too soon. You experience 18-year-olds passing, you experience 60-year-olds passing, you experience 30-year-olds passing, you experience, I was just at this place with them last night and they didn't make it home. That does something to your mentality, and it can be depressing, but it can also, and I would pray it does, change you in the best way in terms of living living the best way you can instead of just living for the day or the moment. But you still want to live in the moment because you realize it's not guaranteed you'll have another one. The next biggest thing I realized, one, I'm an introvert, but motorcycling has been a bridge for me. It's been a time travel of sorts. I live in an area that's extremely congested, one of the most congested areas in the United States in terms of traffic, which makes someone like me who works on patience but may not always be the most patient, not want to go anywhere that would lead me to traffic. I learned that motorcycles can take a lot of toll roads for free. Here in the DMV we have something called the Easy Pass. It's on 95, but essentially you get on there and depending on the time of day, if it's going the direction you want to go, north or south, you get on there for free. You rarely going to be in traffic on the Easy Pass. You're almost guaranteed to be in traffic on the main road. So I'm talking about cutting your commute time in half. You want to go get ice cream at a nice place an hour away, it's going to take you 50 minutes to an hour. You want to go in your car, it's either you pay $15 to $20 to $30 for the Easy Pass, or you take an hour and a half, you take an hour and 50 minutes. And so I started realizing, like, not only did I enjoy the journey to the ice cream shop or often to like my cousin's house or something like that, but I got there so much faster. I didn't waste time, and I didn't have to deal with road rage, and I didn't have to deal with, just feeling like I'm sitting in traffic. And the average American sits in traffic so many hours, so many days a year. It's literally just a waste of time. So not only on a motorcycle do you enjoy the journey, but the journey's shorter in most cases because we have more flexibility. There are Easy Pass and things like that where we can take toll roads for free, certain toll roads. And we actually enjoy riding. So it's not, driving sometimes can be a chore. Riding, I get to do that. I'm so excited to do that. So there was my cousins who had lived 30 minutes away for the last 5-6 years. I never visited them once. I visited them 10 times in the first year I had a motorcycle. And like building that relationship with my cousins, like getting to go see my grandparents, there's just so many things I did because I wanted to be on the road. And not to sound bad, but in a way, and riders will understand, I needed an excuse to go somewhere. So I would get on the bike and I would go see someone that I love. I would go be there and I would be happy to do it. And it helped me build a lot of great relationships. So motorcycling helps in that way, but it also helps building relationships with strangers. There are people who wave Confederate flags that ride motorcycles. To see people from different backgrounds that maybe I would assume don't want to talk to someone that looks like me, someone that has locks, someone that's black, someone that's tall. They see this motorcycle and I'm just human. And that, unfortunately, is one of the first times in my life that when people saw me, they weren't intimidated because I was big, or they weren't just trying to see if they were talking to an athlete or someone who was famous, but they saw, oh, we share the same passion, we take the same risk, but we understand that freedom that comes with riding motorcycles. How are you doing? What's your bike? And having those interactions with people has been truly amazing. I've really enjoyed it. Of course, you have a couple people who hate motorcycles, but that hasn't ever really been a detractor for me, except for maybe one day out of the last 700 I've ridden. So it's been a bridge, it's been a time machine, and I'm just so blessed that God has helped me build relationships with complete strangers, people who I would have never talked to, and also people who I love, my family, my loved ones that I never got to see. The third thing is motorcycling not only changed how I face my mortality, it changed how I face my aptitude. My first bike, it was a 2019, there was no work that was needed. This bike, it maybe has some rough use from previous owner. It's 20 years old. There is a lot of issues that came with it, and some of those people I met only from riding motorcycles. I would have never met them. I met them through Facebook and trying to just ride with people. I ended up being in like a Facebook group with them, and they helped kind of teach me how to fix the bike. And since I had gotten spoiled on the first one, I never had to fix anything. And I think a lot of us kind of get spoiled. We don't understand what our hands can do. We don't understand what our minds can do, or we never push ourselves there. It was either pay $600 to $1,000 to have someone else look at it, or do it myself for this bike. And I was very reluctant to do it, but I would have friends that would be like, no, yeah, you can do that. Go ahead, do that. And maybe after the second or third time I did my alterations on the bike, or I fixed the issue, I started realizing like, I can touch something with my hands and make it work. I can fix it. I'm someone who can fix it. It doesn't have to be this guy, it doesn't have to be that guy, this girl. I can fix it. And that just brought a different kind of confidence and responsibility. And the same ice that was able to fix this is the same ice that went and learned day trading. It's the same ice that's going through YouTube courses and being disciplined and being consistent, being persistent. But I think some of those habits started with motorcycles, an alien object to me at one point. And now I can go underneath the tank and fix this. I can take the fairings off, change the oil. I changed the whole charging system of the bike, which is actually what part of my degree is, because I have a computer engineering degree, which is at the university I was at, it's like half and half electrical engineering, computer science, but we never had hands-on. It was all theory. And I think that's why people criticize college nowadays. It's all theory as opposed to something like the military where it's hands-on. I actually got to deal with a charging system on this bike, so it just kind of helped me grow into the man that I want to be. A man that can go fix something with his hands, that can think with his mind, and that's not waiting for someone to fix my problems, but that will go be, quote unquote, my own hero, because God gave me ability. God gave me confidence. God gave me intelligence. He gave me working hands, working arms, legs. He gave me YouTube during COVID, where so many people put out free content. Like, I gotta take advantage of it. So, and shout out to my friend Z. He was mentioning when he got his bike, like, he's putting lights on the underneath, and he said, it's just something where you can just fix something with your hands. It does something to you. It opens, it like wakes you up. And I really feel that. My last point, let me look at my notes so I don't forget. Motorcycling really brought a new perspective to me, and I'm gonna tell you what that means. My whole life I've been told how dangerous motorcycle riding is. I was researching how dangerous it was to try to convince myself not to get it, even though I felt like everything in my life was like God giving hints, you need to do this, to a point where it was like overwhelming, like I need to do this. And I was depressed when I started riding, for those who don't know that story. I realized little kids light up when they see motorcycles. It's only the adults that are terrified. And that reminds me of a statistic I heard recently, where it's like little kids laugh somewhere between like 20 and 400 times a day, and adults on average. Or maybe it's little kids laugh 400 times a day and adults laugh 20. I'm gonna put the statistic up, but there's something about growing up in a world filled with sin that robs you of your joy. And we take so many things as law, as rules, that just are not true. Like, if you get on a motorcycle, you're dead. And to think, like, it just made me question, why does the kid smile and the adult frown and give bad news? It's because the adult has seen so much, unfortunate things happen in this world, and they lost that child joy somewhere. But the people that ride, I've noticed, like, it's kind of like the Matrix, like, we've gone out and we realize there's more to this world than what we've been told, than what we've been instructed. And all there is the people who live by those rules that don't exist, or who go test them. Because some of the rules do exist, some of them don't. And there's so many experiences I've had, one, riding a motorcycle, but then after that, like, maybe I really can do anything I put my mind to, and maybe I just have to be consistent. And maybe I can retire at 26 or 27. Maybe I don't have to retire at 70 years old. Maybe that's not a real rule. You know what I mean? Maybe someone who looks like me doesn't just have to be an athlete to be financially free. Maybe Gucci isn't a good lifestyle brand. It just made me question so many things that we kind of take as rules, as things that limit us. And no longer do I feel limited in most things, because once I realized a lot of what I heard about motorcycles had truth, but was not completely true and was extremely jaded, I started wondering what else in life is like that. So if you're watching this video and you don't even plan to ride motorcycles, that's cool. I hope you can take the lessons from someone who rides and apply it to your life, because it has freed me. And that's all I want, is everyone who watches this channel to free their minds from all the limits they put on, because we had a limitless creator create us. So why would we not be creative? Why would we not, have very few limits ourselves? We're literally made in the image of our creator. Just imagine that. And I think we've lost that somewhere along the way because of fear. And a healthy amount of fear is important. It keeps you alive, keeps you safe. But there's so much more to life than what we've been told or than someone else's experience. And it just breaks my heart to see someone who their biggest education came within the walls that they grew up in. Came within the city, came within the state, came within the country. One day I'm coming out the country and I'm gonna go explore more. But for now, this is my time traveling machine. This is my matrix pill that opens up and helps me see the world closer to, I think, what it really is. And I still have so much to learn, but I know now that I knew nothing. And that's one of the best beginnings you could ever have.